Hey, folks, it's Wednesday James again. How's it going? It's time for another edition of What's Up With That Song Wednesday, which is a video series in which I discuss some of the songs that I have written one at a time and go through where they came from, what they're about, in as much as they're about anything, any kind of other information that might be interesting to you about the songs, and then there's a new recording of the song at the end. So you can skip ahead of that if you don't want to hear about it, but you can listen to the song now. So this is a song today. We're going to talk about a song called Hold Your Heart. This is actually one of my secret favorite songs of my last decade or so. Wrote this, so it's like a lot of songs. It started from a guitar hook that I came up with and then sat around with for, I don't know, some number of years. And in this case, I'll show you here, it's on... I had that for an awfully long time and no idea what to do with it. I don't know if you can hear that in the tape. I hope we'll see. But the sliding note off the C and then moving down to a C major 7. Anyway, I had that kind of sitting in my head for who knows how long. I have reams upon reams of just guitar hooks. I've got my voice memo app is just like track after track after track of me going, this is standard tuning, capo on 2, and then playing a thing for a minute. So I just have like little ideas that just sort of float around, and I just sort of wait until they hopefully find some words that make some sense. So I want to put this in spring 2018-ish when I wrote this song. Might have been 2019. My memory is pretty bad, but I think it was 2018. Had been struggling some with writing, which is kind of always the case for me. I tend to have not... It hasn't been easy since I was in my 20s, which is unfortunate, but what are you going to do, I suppose? And my then wife was in a pretty bad mental health place. She's much better now, but, was just in kind of a dark spot and not feeling very good about the world. And I was at an open mic. I recall this very clearly. I was at the barn in Western Massachusetts. Did it have a different name besides just the barn? It may have just been the barn. Fuck, I can't remember this. I'll look it up. I'll put it in the notes. Anyway, playing it's open mic in this barn venue in Western Massachusetts that I actually played a couple times and really, really enjoyed. It's a cool space. I guess the owners who were there then have moved on, but someone else took it over, so it's still going. Cool space. Check out the notes on this post for what the venue's called, because I can't remember. I want to look it up. But I remember sitting at this open mic, and somebody was singing. And I'm sure they were lovely, but I wasn't really paying attention, which is rude, and I'm a terrible person. But and I had this hook kind of sitting around my head, and I was thinking about. Here's the fun inspiration behind this song: a line from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Joss Whedon is problematic in lots of ways and kind of a shithead, but despite that, you can't argue the guy can write. And this must have been after. I don't know if this was before or after he was discovered to be a shithead. I don't know, my sense of time is fucking irrelevant. But anyway, there's a sequence in Buffy season 3 where Angel, Buffy's vampire boyfriend with a soul, so he's not evil, except when he has evil spells. But that's neither here nor there. Angel is telling Buffy, who's a high school junior at this point, or whatever, senior maybe, about the first time that he saw her. And I'm paraphrasing because I haven't seen this in a while because I don't really watch the show anymore. But he says something like, when I saw you for the first time, you held your heart out in front of you for everyone to notice. And I wanted to protect it. I wanted to hold it in my hands and keep it safe. And she says, oh, that's so sweet. Or taken literally, really gross. Which is a good punchline. And so I just had that kind of knocking around my head for some reason. I don't know why that scene occurred to me, but something about hold your heart just popped. And then hold your heart until I go, hold your heart tonight, blah, blah. And so the rest of it, once those two things connected, and it's a weird thing that I can't usually do, but sometimes if I have a melodic idea or a music or a guitar figure idea that's strong enough in my head, I can actually ignore active music happening around me and just hear that, which is not a thing I can do all the time. But once in a while, in the right kind of, like, when you get into that writing mode, which is a mode I fucking miss because I have not been there very often of late. But when you get into that, like, brain space, like, everything else kind of gets quieter around you and you sort of just get to focus on it. So something about that connection of that joke, of that metaphor of holding your heart, but then also in the hands, and also, like, just playing around with that, it just kind of came together, and I sat down, and the whole thing came down pretty easy from that point on, which is always kind of lovely when it just sort of comes. I don't recall doing a lot of editing on it. It sort of was a first idea, best idea kind of thing. A few phrases here and there, a couple bits of, and like once I actually put a guitar in my hands and like I tried to sit down and play it, I had to change a couple of things for rhythms and timing because I'm not a good enough player singer to like completely go off rhythm, so I have to capacitate everything to what it's supposed to be. But so wrote the thing. I don't do a ton of finger picking songs either because I'm not super great at finger picking, but I like doing it. So then this got recorded for the first King Pine EP, which came out in 2019, which is why I think I wrote in 2018, but I'm not totally sure. It's on that first King Pine EP, which I did in Macedon with Dave Drago, which is the King Pine EP. There's two of them on the internet, and neither of them have across the board the songs I think are the best I've written, but they are maybe the most interesting recordings I've made. I think the songs on my solo record are better, I think that's an arrangement that suits it really well. I'm really, really proud of that solo record, but the King Pine record, especially the first one, it's 4 tracks. It is just Dave and I in the studio. Nobody else is on it, and we did the whole thing in 12 hours of studio time between over 3 days, or 2 days, to the point that he sent me the first mix, and I was shocked at what was on half the tracks. I thought he'd gone in and done a bunch of work after I left, because we just sort of threw shit at the, like, and I came in thinking it was going to be like, I was listening to Julian Baker's second record, Turn Out the Lights, which I really, really love. It's an incredible record. It's very, very cathartic and very fantastic. And it took me probably 5 listens to realize that there's no rhythm section on it. I mean, there's bass here and there, but there's no drums anywhere. It's a very wide-ranging record without any percussion of any kind, and not very much bass. It's mostly just like guitars and voices and a little piano here and there, a little bit of whatever. So, and I kind of had that in my head as sort of a guide point for this record. So I kind of came as I had these 4 songs. They were all finger pick songs, which is, again, not a thing I do very much or very well. And that I didn't have anything really bigger planned for besides that. I kind of was thinking about this Julian Baker thing. It was like, here's this interesting, I would say it's a relatively dense record as far as the number, like there's a lot of different stuff happening and it's really broad scale sounding, but without any percussion, without any real rhythm section kind of stuff. So I was kind of thinking that could be a way to go, because I can't play percussion for shit. I know Dave can, but, so I thought, well, that's kind of the goal I had in mind, but I kind of came up with nothing, just like, here's these tunes, and let's see what we can do. And we just went to town on them. And it was like one of the things I really, really love about working with Dave Drago, and what I hope to do again if I can ever get back north with some money in my pocket, is that his studio, he's got everything so dialed in that, like, you say, you know what I think this maybe needs? I think this maybe needs a little electric piano. And he says, cool, get in there. And by the time you get to the piano and are like halfway through figuring out what you're thinking about in your head, he's ready to go. Like, he's ready to track. Doesn't matter what instrument, doesn't matter what kind of sound. You're like, hey, I think this wants like a big cranking Vox amp on this. He's like, cool, give me 2 minutes. And like, you're there. you know, and like working my solo record, which was super, super fun and wonderful, and I'm so proud of it, but like it was a slow process. It was just like, do this, then do that. There's a lot of waiting and a lot of whatever. And working with Dave is just like, as fast as the ideas are coming, you know, you'll say, I think this needs a harmony vocal. He's like, cool, get in there. There's a mic already up. You walk in, you put the headphones on, you sing your part. He's like, cool, now sing this one too, and puts another track on it. And he's like, now come here a second. And you come back in. He's like, okay, hit record. I'm going to go do a part. And he'll add a part in. So just this like, really just like bang, 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 bang. I mean, that King Pine EP, the first one, None Use Swear Words, ended up being the title for reasons passing understanding. But it was just like such an exciting process. Because it was the first time in a long time that I'd gotten to work like that fast. And sort of that like, and it was like, you know, he'll be like, hey, can you play something like this kind of idea on the guitar? I'm like, yeah, I can sort of figure that. Like, yeah, I think so. And I'll figure something out. He'd be like, yeah, cool. And then he would run and like grab a keyboard and play something on the keyboard to go along with that guitar part that he just like pitched at me. And then from that, I'm like, oh, cool. You know what that needs now is it needs a different, another different guitar part with a different sound. It's like, okay, cool, do that. And so just like this fantastic process. So the King Pine records are extremely beloved to me because they're just this great process of creation that's so much fun. And I definitely miss working with Dave and just working with studios in general. But so yeah, written at an open mic, inspired by Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and recorded in a spate of nonsense at 1809 Studios in Massillon, New York. That's the story of Hold Your Heart. And now, without further ado, here's Hold Your Heart. 1, 2, 3, 4. When mountains crumble down to dust, when iron ages into rust, when rivers tumble to the sea, hold your heart inside of me. I'll be here before you fall. I'll build the floor where you stand tall. I'll keep horizons in my sight. Hold your heart tonight. Travels you might find that you have come unstuck in time, and life refuses what you planned. Hold your heart in both my hands. I'll be here before you fall. I'll build the floor where you stand tall. I'll keep horizons in my sight. Hold your heart tonight. Hold your heart with tired fingers. Hold your heart when storm clouds linger. Wash it clean and treat it kind. Hope that you'll be holding mine. Shake the dust of all these days, but ever still there's just one thing that I know. Hold your heart until I go. I'll be here before you fall. I'll build the floor where you stand tall. I'll keep horizons in my sight. Hold your heart tonight.